You want me to make my pick now?
I want you to make the pick now, and then I want to talk about it.
Okay. I got Blue Jays in 6.
Parker, it's hard to believe. 6 or 7 months ago now, we were in Arizona enjoying some sun, catching spring training baseball, and now the World Series is here, and it's felt like a lifetime.
It felt like a lifetime, but it's also felt like a couple weeks. Like it doesn't feel like it really should be the World Series yet. I am certainly not ready for baseball to be over, as excited as I am for football season and all that good stuff. But yeah, no, we're here. It's the World Series. Let's talk about it because there's a lot to unpack. That freaking Toronto series was absolutely bananas, man.
It really was. I think we both expected, right, that we were going to come into it and it was going to go 7 games. These two teams were
Yeah.
very evenly matched, and now here we are. The Blue Jays and the Dodgers are going to go at it, and my logical part of my brain wants to think that the Dodgers are etched in stone and they're going to repeat, and
Mm.
we're going to be kind of looking at a Dodgers World Series again. But then I look at kind of this Toronto team and what they've done over the past couple weeks. And it's hella impressive. I don't think we should discount, the Blue Jays at all. So Parker, when you really truly give these two teams a look and a fair shake, what do you see happening here in the next week? It's going to be very interesting.
You want me to make my pick now?
I want you to make the pick now, and then I want to talk about it.
Okay. I got Blue Jays in 6.
Dude, come on now. We're going to start off hot here. Not a chance in hell. I'm doing Dodgers in 6. Okay.
Oh,
I
all
am.
right. Here we
I
go.
am.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. It's getting juicy. It's only been a minute and 50 seconds. All right. Parker, this is perfect because I want you to talk about the Blue Jays. I can get into why I'm choosing the Dodgers. What makes you think the Toronto Blue Jays can go ahead and defeat the dynastic Dodgers in the World Series?
Okay. I'm going to get a little more in depth on this one than I was originally planning, but I do think that it's worth mentioning that the Los Angeles Dodgers have not played baseball this week. They have not been playing baseball. And you know who just finished playing in an absolute electric factory of a ALCS? The Toronto Blue Jays. It's been a long time since the Dodgers have played a baseball game, period. And the Toronto Blue Jays just played a electric factory of a series against one of the best, actually the best, literally, Mariners team we've ever seen. And I think that momentum is going to carry them. There was a really cool Instagram post. I wish I could tell you where. It might have actually been the MLB or maybe the MLB on Fox Instagram page, where they pointed out that it has been unequivocally way more beneficial to come off of a 7-game series against the team who swept and keep riding the hot hand. To me, of course, it's the Red Sox that always come to mind for me, but notably the 2004 and 7 Red Sox both went to 7 games in the ALCS and then took on extremely hot teams that had swept their respective series going into the World Series and were able to hand it to those teams. Specifically in the 2004 World Series, the Red Sox beat the Yankees, obviously, in 7 games. It's the famous comeback, and they beat the Cardinals in 4 games. And then they did the exact same thing against the 2007 Rockies, who notably had won 21 out of 22 games going into the World Series, but then had a week off leading up to the World Series. So I think that playing baseball and not getting cold is so important. And I think it's so easy to get cold as a 30-plus-year-old guy who just played 180 baseball games over the course of 6 months and finally just got a week off. Like, your body starts to seize up, man.
I mean, absolutely. No, you make a great point. There's something to be said about riding the momentum into the World Series. What makes me almost reconsider that is that the Dodgers, because they've been 9-1 through this whole postseason, have had a lot of time to sit around, right? This is not their first rodeo sitting around for 3 or 4 days. So what I tend to think, where I think that matters, is perhaps with hitters, right? The hitters are they're creatures of habit, they're creatures of momentum more so than the pitchers. For the pitchers, you probably want those extra days. And I'll tell you which staff I don't want getting extra days. Which pitching staff is that Dodgers pitching staff. I don't want them I don't want to give them another day. Whereas the Blue Jays, Parker, one thing, and we'll get into this here now. One thing I do wonder about them is coming fresh off of a game 7 where their pitching staff went through the ringer. Mm-hmm. How ready is their pitching staff going to be entering this World Series? Because if you look at the probables right now, they're still figuring things out. Because in game 1, we have Snell versus TBD. Game 2, Yamamoto versus TBD. Looks like TBD is doing a lot of the heavy lifting right now for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Blue Jays are going to be carried by what they can get out of this pitching staff as a whole. But one thing that I think we're sleeping on the fact that this is the last series of the season. Can you make it through these 7 games? And it's not even going to be 7 games because the Blue Jays are going to win in 6 games, like I just said. So really, what the Blue Jays have to do here is figure out all of the juice that could possibly be squeezed out of this rotation. And personally, I think that when you're looking at a 4-man rotation that consists of Kevin Gausman, Trey Savage, Shane Bieber, and Max Scherzer, like I love that 4-man rotation rolling into this World Series. It is not better than the 4-man rotation that the Dodgers are capable of putting out there. There is not a better pitcher on planet Earth right now than Blake Snell, and he's going in game 1. And then Yamamoto is not far behind him, just through a complete game in his last game. So yes, I understand there's a mountain to climb, but I think that if there's a lineup that out of the 2 of them benefits more from the climactic game 7, everybody's on fire, George Springer hits one of the most important home runs in MLB postseason history in game 7 of that ALCS. I think that lineup, riding the hot hand like they are, that's when you're able to beat a guy like a Blake Snell, like a Yoshinobu Yamamoto, like a Shohei Ohtani. Like I think that that's the time that this is going to happen. And if you have a guy like Kevin Gausman or another guy riding a hot hand and Trey Savage, like this might be the perfect storm for a team like the Blue Jays to go in and win against a Dodgers team that really looks like they are rolling and could potentially just keep rolling all the way to their 2nd consecutive World Series.
We do need to get into what it's going to take, right, for this Blue Jays team to win. We have seen crazier things in baseball. I don't want anyone to think that the Blue Jays are down and out on this. Far from it. You do have a series here where they do have home field advantage. It's going to be 2 in Toronto, 3 in LA, 2 back in Toronto. So when you look at what it's really going to take, like the best case scenario for this Blue Jays team, what is that going to take for them to win this series?
The best case scenario is that Kevin Gausman comes out and pitches the best game of his career. Trey Yesavage, am I saying that right? Yesavage?
I think it's Yesavage. I think
Yesavage.
It's Yesavage.
Oh, well, I like Savage.
Maybe.
Trey Yesavage going in there. Trey Yesavage going in there and again just blowing the doors off of a Blue Jays of a Dodgers roster that, I mean, is the most proven roster that you could possibly have coming in to a World Series. And then maybe, some combination of Shane Bieber and Max Scherzer. Honestly, that's interesting to me, like who starts game 3, because I think the first 2 are pretty ironed out. Like the form that Max Scherzer was in his last game that he just started, I might start him game 3. He looks like a man on fire right now. And, I think that it goes a long way for a guy with the experience and somebody who rides emotion as much as Max Scherzer does. I think it might be the guy that I have going in game 3. But as far as what a perfect world looks like, I think it starts with the starting pitching. And then also when you move over to the lineup, you need guys like George Springer and Vladdy to ride the hot hand. You need them to continue to carry this offense that inexplicably has been so much more than the sum of its parts so far. You really need all of that to work out. And I'm going to be completely honest. Am I convinced that the Blue Jays are going to win the World Series? I'm not. But this Blue Jays team has done nothing but absolutely shatter expectations all season long. if there is a team that is going to do this, it's probably the Blue Jays. If there was a team all year that had more to overcome, I would like to know who, because they were in one of the toughest divisions in baseball. They manhandled everybody that they have faced so far. Maybe Game 7 doesn't count as manhandling, but they certainly manhandled Game 7. And now they are going up against Goliath. I don't agree with Alex Rodriguez when he says this is a Goliath on Goliath matchup. I think this is David and Goliath. This Blue Jays roster has a payroll almost half that of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So if there's a team with more to prove, I would like to see who, because the Dodgers are they're trying to win to prove that what they did like mattered and worked.
Yeah.
But the Blue Jays are first of all, they have an entire country on their back. And second of all, they have a certain level of screw you to them, a certain level of fire, and a certain level of like to use like an 80s term, like spunk, that I don't think any other team in baseball could have brought to this World Series. And I cannot wait to see what the Blue Jays do.
Well, I'll tell you what, Parker, you know what team in baseball this year had the most comeback wins during the regular season and the postseason?
The Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays. I mean, that is proof is in the pudding.
This team
when you
is
talk
never
about their
out.
resilience, they're never out. That's exactly right. They are always sticking around and in every single game that they play. Now, here's what I will say. We talk about the home field advantage. They have to win one of those games in Toronto, game 1 or 2. That is not optional. They need to walk away with a win in those first 2 games. And if they do not, if they go 0-2 after and leave Toronto 0-2, you can write this. You can just etch it in stone at that point.
You need to win. The most realistic path for them to win the World Series is probably find a way to split the Toronto games, find a way to take one out of the 3 Los Angeles games, and then win the last 2 at home.
That, Parker, is hard. That's going to be hard.
Like, it's baseball, right? The Dodgers got swept by the Rockies this year, didn't they? Or no, they got swept by the Angels.
A's.
The Angels.
It was
the A's. And the A's. Like,
that's right.
This happens. And so I do think it's important. We're in 13 minutes in. We haven't said a single word about what we think, like, from the Dodgers' perspective, this series is going to look like. I have said my piece about the Blue Jays. I will devil's advocate myself and say every single person on planet Earth that is not a Dodgers fan is currently cheering against the Dodgers. Guess who is keenly aware of that? The Dodgers. They know that. They know what they have to do. They know what it takes to do because they did it last year. And I also want to point out, for everybody watching, it might be easy to dunk on the Dodgers for spending $500 million on their payroll this year. It might be easy to say that they're buying a World Series. And it might be easy to say, how are you getting all these players? You're ruining baseball. For them to do what they have done, not just over the last 2 years, but over the last 2 decades, this Dodgers team has been a force to be reckoned with, unlike any other over the last 20 years. What is it? 14 out of 15 NL West titles. Nobody can touch them. They won the World Series last year. They look poised to win another World Series this year. And I don't care what sport. I don't care if you're Max Verstappen in F1. I don't care if you're the Dodgers. I don't care if you're the Patriots in football. It is so incredibly hard to repeat at the highest level of competition. There are billions and billions of dollars poured every single year into doing one thing, unseating the champion. And if you're a champion, you have to defend against all of that onslaught. And nobody has done it like the Dodgers have this year. And so honestly, at the end of the day, the Dodgers are favored, and they very well should be. But the fact that they're even favored going into their 2nd consecutive World Series and a title defense is absolutely mystifying. And it would be hard if you had a team full of 25 Babe Ruths. It would be hard if you had a team full of 25 Shohei Ohtanis. But they have found a way to do it.
They have. And your point's a good one when you think about objectively looking at this team. You and I as baseball fans, love the Dodgers. We've talked about this. We love the Dodgers. We walked through that spring training facility thinking, "Holy shit! Like, are we Dodgers fans?" Like that's how much we love what
They're
they've done,
infectious,
how they
man.
developed. They are infectious. They have this energy. They go all in. They're in it to win it. They just are just full throttle all the time towards a championship caliber culture and a championship caliber team. And I'm not going to fault them for that. I'm never going to look at them and say, "Oh, well, you're ruining the sport." I'm looking at other 29 teams and going, "Be better." That's what I'm doing. And so I look at this team and I would not be upset if the Dodgers won the World Series. Let me be clear. I have no vested interest in this World Series. I was on the Mariners train. I wanted to see them win a World Series. We all know that. In this one, I have no interest. I will be thrilled if either one of these teams win the World Series for different reasons. But I will say this. The Dodgers have this one X factor.
Mm-hmm.
You may have heard of him. His name is Shohei Ohtani. Okay. This is a guy, Parker, we saw this past week one of the best single performances in a baseball game in human history. Okay. Like, this is incredible. We saw a game in which one player, okay, had 6 scoreless innings with 10 strikeouts and hit 3 home runs. I'm still speechless because we are living in a time where we get to see this guy play baseball, and it is something truly special and it cannot be understated. And as long as Shohei Ohtani is both hitting and pitching for this team, it becomes, what I'm realizing, really hard to bet against the Dodgers. It just does. One man does decide it all, but he is otherworldly and he puts the whole team over the top.
For my money, it's the best player in baseball history. And anytime you have that guy on your team going into a World Series best of 7, that's where his advantage becomes the most evident. In a 7-game series where he has a paw print, in a 7-game series where he has a fingerprint on every single
well, the guy's a beast, so maybe it is a paw print.
There you go. Where he has a fingerprint in every single game, that is where he is his most effective, especially when he's going to be pitching in this series. He's gonna pitch. Like, that's it. He could be on the. Think about this. What if the Dodgers do what everybody think they're gonna do, win the first 3 games, and then you have Shohei Ohtani in Game 4? How do you even compete with that as the Blue Jays?
That's what I'm saying, is like, he's going to be in there maybe Game 3, if not definitely Game 4, and you're going to see him in Game 6 or 7 again. Like, there is no wiggle room for Toronto. There is 0 wiggle room. And so when you look at the team, and I know I'm kind of a broken record here, but I talk about this all the time throughout the season. You look at the wiggle room that each team has for mistakes. Okay. And how do you make up those mistakes? Maybe it's a strong bullpen. Maybe it's, getting guys on base. Maybe it's, you can count on your 3rd or 4th starter to save you. The Dodgers are more prepared to come behind those mistakes and clean them up. Blue Jays, not so much. I just think the Dodgers have a deeper team all around. Not to mention, you have Roki Sasaki coming in. He had 3 saves so far this postseason.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. Like, what world are we living in where this team is just so heavily reinforced? And I look at Toronto, and I think for Toronto, I don't mean to go back to Toronto, but I think when you're looking at these two teams together head to head, you're looking at the superior pitching staff against what will be the Dodgers' biggest challenge. Like, let's be clear here, is that the Blue Jays are a team that they put the ball in play, they get on base, they apply pressure, and they're the lowest strikeout rate in baseball. So this is not a team that's going to roll over for the Dodgers. This will be a bigger challenge that the Dodgers have faced all postseason.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think that this is going to be hopefully one of the better World Series that we've had the pleasure of watching in recent history. If the Blue Jays come out and make it a series, basically because of the storyline, this is a team that was projected to be bottom half of the American League. This was a team that was projected to be the fifth place team in their division. So what better way to subvert expectations What better way to overcome the odds than by winning the whole thing, or at least making it a series against the Dodgers? I think we're in for a treat.
We really are, Parker. Well, it's coming. We're going to be watching all 7 games, and you and I will be super glued in, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be, I'll tell you what, Parker, I'll end it with this. Finally, Shohei Ohtani will be on a plane to Toronto. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. He probably already is.
True. All right. Well, you know where to find us here at Late Night Baseball. Make sure you're following us over the next couple weeks as we continue to talk about this really awesome World Series matchup.